Welcome to Distraction Approved. I'm Chris.
And I'm Mitch.
And today we are doing a special episode, a speculation episode about the new Bethesda game that was just announced, Fallout 76.
Whoa.
So, basically, from the teaser that was put out online, from
Which
what
is
we
really
saw,
cool.
Cool looking teaser. We are huge fans of the Fallout universe. Mitch actually turned me on to Fallout back in the day when I was unemployed. He's like, hey, dude, you might like Fallout 3. It's a cool game. And I'm like, I got all day to do nothing. So I bought the game, and I fell in love with it. It was just so awesome being able to play through the wastelands and kill super mutants and do all those crazy quests. And
Yeah.
Liam Neeson was your dad. So it was like dope as fuck.
Yeah. I've been playing since like PC, some of the original ones. So I've seen, come up from everything from the beginning, even the terrible like offshoot
I've
strategy
played
games.
some of the original ones too after the fact, and I can understand their appeal back in the day, but after playing Fallout 3, trying
and
to go
going
back
to it,
it was real
hard.
tough. Yeah.
But yeah, so Fallout 76.
Yeah, so Fallout 76.
What could it be?
Well, we know from Fallout lore that Fallout, the vaults in Fallout, there was a number of control vaults. These vaults were meant to be opened 20 years after the nuclear war had ended, and Vault 76 was one of these control vaults. So it's pretty much the given in the speculation world right now that this is going to be happening 20 years after the war is done and the world has been irradiated by all the nuclear bombs that have fallen. So what does that mean gameplay-wise, right? If I picture in Fallout 4, there was the area where you find, I forget what it was called. It was like the glowing sea, I think.
Yeah.
And you go to the glowing sea, and there's like, that's like there was a bomb that exploded there still, or they're still feeling the effects of radiation.
What was it? And the Fallout 4 was like 200 years.
That was 200 years later.
So like, so either you're barely gonna be able to go outside, or you're gonna have to be. I feel like it might be timed even. Like you're in the vault, you gotta go outside, but everything's fucking irradiated as shit, and then you gotta get back to the vault. Like,
that could be.
That's kind of like
that's how the glowing sea worked. Was you could only be in there no matter, unless you had power armor on, and even then you were still getting irradiated through the power armor when you were walking around in that area until you went inside like a building or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives some interesting gameplay aspects, especially if you think about the fact of, say, mole rats and death claws and some of the more iconic enemies that you came across in the game. Super mutants. Well, super mutants were different, but some of the more wildlife aspect of it, those you have to assume mutated over time, like 200 years of mutations to get to those points where you have a giant death claw, right?
Yeah, I don't think like 20 years it's not going to be like mutation.
So I'm wondering if
not.
like you see more regular animals that are just slightly mutated and like dealing with it.
Yeah.
That could be a cool aspect of it. Now, super mutants, if I remember correctly, were actually created in one of the vaults.
The FEV, as the FEV virus?
Yes.
FEV strain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of the vaults, and then, they just kind of evolved from there over time.
Right. So I feel like you would still probably come in contact with them, although they probably, this happened. I don't remember timeline-wise when the super mutants happened or were created, but it was definitely, I think, after the bombs fell, in one of those vaults. So chances are you could come into contact with the first versions of super mutants. Maybe they're a little closer to being human and not as mutated as they are in the later games. So that's some of the cool aspect of it. Now, another part of the speculation that I saw was that this is going to be an online multiplayer game, not necessarily an MMO game like World of Warcraft, where it's a big open server where you're playing with a lot of people, but more along the vein of a game of like DayZ or Rust or even Last Day on Earth, that game that we talked about for the mobile phone.
Yeah.
where you basically go out and you have to survive for a certain, you have to survive out in the wilderness, into the radiated wilderness, and there's other players out there as well that you might come into contact with. And I guess the idea from the insider aspect that talked about this is that it was basically trying to figure out how they could take Fallout 4 and make it a multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell just by looking at the video, this definitely has the same look and feel of a Fallout 4 game.
Well, I mean, it's got to be the same. I mean, they don't have like a new engine to upgrade or a new like console for better graphics, so it has really some familiar looks.
That being said, another part of what they said about this, if this is the way the game is going to go and it's a multiplayer online game, the combat system and some of the way that the gameplay actually works is supposed to be changed significantly.
Oh yeah, you can't if you're playing live against other people, you can't just throw on VATS and like slow down time.
Oh yeah, so which I hadn't thought about that, but that's right. You can't just throw on VATS. That takes away from some of the core gameplay of all the Fallout series, where you could throw on VATS and target a body part or something and have a percentage chance to hit it and do more damage when you did. So if you can't do that anymore because it's more of a PvP aspect, are people going to like that? I don't know if I would like not having VATS anymore, but I understand how you wouldn't be able to use it for PvP.
It would be if they, I don't know, like, I mean, maybe they'll blow our minds and figure out a way where you can.
I feel like it's almost going to be more like Destiny, but with maybe a little bit more PvP action against each other, like in the wild, whereas like you can try to kill people to get their supplies, but maybe you can then team up with people to take on like a raid boss.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a smart move.
Like first rad scorpion ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, and there's going to be some crazy bosses I'm sure that they can come up with.
And that'd be cool.
Because there is going to be a storyline and like quests associated with it in the vein of Fallout. So, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be hours and hours of gameplay, hours and hours of quests to do. And there's also base building. So Fallout 4 set the precedent for Fallout in the way that you build your home base and your settlements. And you can build all these different settlements and have them linked together and all that good stuff. And we both messed around with that. I built a bunch of settlements.
Oh yeah,
up.
I think I want to say after I played through a bunch of storylines, I think I went back and did like another 40 hours just on building settlements and experimenting with that. And
I beefed up the castle. Remember the castle?
That was always fun.
That was a cool little place to beef up.
I think the greatest part too with that is you go on YouTube and you can see these amazing builds that people do.
Yeah.
And that was cool part. And then I get inspired by that and try and build up Sanctuary or the castle or wherever just to get these crazy builds. And bringing that back I think is smart. It's like an adult Minecraft.
Yeah, and it does, that whole aspect gave all of the junk in the world meaning, right? In the first Fallout game, or at least in Fallout 3, you would come across a lot of random crap that you might pick up, and then all you would do with it is bring it to a vendor and sell it for whatever caps you could get.
Yeah.
Whereas Fallout 4 made it that you could scrap those items and then use the scrap that you take from that and make something out of it. And that was a cool aspect for kind of making the whole world a little bit more important as you go through and you're looking for things. You want to keep that stuff even more because you can use the rubber.
Parts for whatever. Yeah.
And then I wonder if they'll have what they introduced is the crafting your own power armor. Do you think that would make it into this game?
That'd be cool.
I have a feeling that it probably would, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to be going out in a PvP world, you're going to want to be able to craft custom armor, right?
That'd be
just
cool.
like a World of Warcraft where you get your different sets of gear. Maybe you can find different tiers of power armor loot, like a legendary power armor.
Eventually, that'd probably be the way to go. Some legendary shotgun, but then you see what fucking flies around, and then be like, oh, for $25.99 you can get this legendary fucking shotgun for Fallout 76. Oh, gold leathering, gold shotgun. Ooh.
Bethesda hasn't been as greedy when it comes to microtransactions
I know. I guess I'm just I expect the worst.
You're skeptical. I get it. I totally am too when it comes to most new games, but I feel like Bethesda hasn't been doing that. They've just been putting out as many different versions of the games as they can, and on as many different consoles, like Doom coming out for Switch and all that stuff. So, like, they're going out of their way to make sure everybody can play their games, and you only have to pay once to do it. And there's not many companies out there making games like that anymore.
That's true.
So I feel like they probably wouldn't do that. I feel like they would definitely feel a lot of backlash if they did from the fans if they started trying to put microtransactions.
I mean, look at what happened with fucking the Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah, that was a mess.
That was
so. And honestly, if this is a multiplayer game, and think about a Fortnite or think about Battlefront 2, the way that those microtransactions work now, it's cosmetic. Like, you can't necessarily buy anything that's going to give you an advantage.
True.
It's just a cosmetic thing that you can pay extra for if you want. And so if they wanted to do something like that, I'm sure they probably could do that.
Yeah, like if you are, you're in a vault and you want to upgrade your stuff inside the vault, maybe to get some cooler, like, vault gear.
Yeah, that could be cool.
But
maybe
not necessarily like a weapon.
Yeah, maybe if it's a multiplayer world, your own Vault 76 is your own home, like, base versus, like, other people, which would be weird if everybody's is a Vault 76, but they're all on, like, a similar map, so they probably
maybe you get, like,
out.
different rooms, and they, like, load into Vault 76 as, like, the server main, like you could have your room that you can fucking decorate and shit and put trophies or whatever, but then when you load out, you go into, like, the vault itself.
Maybe the vault's like a hub.
Yeah.
For like one of those, like, Destiny games where all these players meet up.
That'd be cool.
Like, if you're all part of, like, the same vault. Maybe there's a limit too. Maybe there's only a certain number of people that can go in one vault. So, like, that's the number of people that play on a particular server or something.
Yeah. Well,
another thing to take into consideration, when Fallout 4 came out, they released Fallout Shelter, the iOS game,
which was super fun.
Which was fun as hell.
We should approve that one.
Yeah, we can go back and do a distraction approved episode on that one. And honestly, I haven't played it in a long time, but they've added a shit ton of things.
Yeah, I actually went back. I played it originally when it first came out like crazy, and then I got rid of it because I was actually spending real money on things.
You were buying,
I definitely
like,
bought
the
some stuff,
packs and the lunch boxes and stuff.
I definitely did that like once or twice, and then did that, played through it, and like I maxed out everything, so I deleted it, and then like almost a year later, I re-downloaded it and played it again. This time, not buying anything, but like, you logged my account in for the Game Center, and I just I deleted other games, started new ones, and I had all sorts of like Christmas stuff. They got new, like, skins for things, and it was just like it was.
Well, they have quests now. Like, you can actually leave the vault and do different things.
It's same thing. They just might have a different building to go through. It gets monotonous, but
okay. But it's more than still, just in the vault,
and it's super fun. But
that was the same thing for me. I mean, I enjoyed it for a while. I played it. And I have to assume that they're probably going to come out with an updated version to go along with this, is my guess.
That'd be cool.
I feel like they had a huge success, and they're still updating Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that they come out with either a new version of that, or maybe they finally pair it so that there is some sort of benefit of having the Fallout Shelter app when you play Fallout 76, which is how everybody thought Fallout Shelter might work. And then it didn't. It just never paired with the game at all.
Yeah.
Which kind of stunk, considering Grand Theft Auto 5, they had an app that you could do things in the app, and that would affect your gameplay later on. You could
cool.
You could do customization of cars and stuff. It wasn't like super in depth, or you could like play mini games to like build up. They had a dog character in that game too that you could like build up the trust with your dog by playing games and stuff on your iPhone. And that was a cool little aspect. So if they could maybe come out with an app to link with Fallout 76, that would then give you some sort of benefit in game, I would definitely be more apt to do it. And when it comes down to it, I don't know what this game's going to be. We're going to have to wait till June 10th to find out the real information.
Yeah.
If it is an online thing, like they say, I don't know if that's going to stop me from playing it, because honestly, that's kind of what held me back from playing Destiny. Like I played the beta for Destiny, and then you remember the infamous. I bought the Destiny PS4. I got the game, and then as I was leaving, the guy's like, you need a PlayStation Plus account to be able to play that. And I said, what the fuck? So I returned the PlayStation, the game, and then eventually I bought my own PlayStation 4 after the fact to get Fallout 4, actually, once they announced Fallout 4. And I don't want to pay for PlayStation Plus, right? That's not my goal here, is to pay for something else. So maybe if it comes out for PC and they don't make you pay an extra subscription fee to play it online, I would consider doing that.
That's true.
But I'm not gonna buy PlayStation.
Well, I can't say it. You can come over and watch me play it then.
Well, that would suck. I wouldn't want to do that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So in June 10th, E3, the Sunday before E3 actually is when they're going to be doing their showcase of this.
Oh, cool.
So we will both be paying attention that evening to see what comes out about the game, see if the rumors are true, and hopefully we get some good information about it. So I think that's as much as we can really speculate on. Thank you for watching. If you have ideas of what this game could be, let us know in the comments. Like this video, share this video.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Tell your grandma.
Subscribe to the channel.
Tell your grandpa.
Do all that stuff. And remember, stay distracted. Do do do. Wah.